Hello, 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 and welcome to the latest installment of And Sarah Appeared. My name is Sarah, and I'm appearing before you today because I have to let you know that being able to code switch is something that is authentic to me. Being able to, honestly, I'm the type of person, I'm very mutable. So, I go with I change and go and shift with whatever environment that I'm in. And it's not just me, it's not like trying to fit in or anything. It's just how I am. My energy is very adaptable to a lot of different situations. But one thing that remains constant is the fact that there's never there's never a hidden agenda behind it. It's genuinely an ability to appeal to masses. It's genuinely an ability for me. And the way that I do it is I have a method to my own madness. But when it comes down to that, of course, when we think of code switching, we think of how you act, when you're around your coworkers, or how you act when you're taking care of business versus how you act with your friends, your family, or when you just in the neighborhood, and it's just a lot of people they feel like, oh, you phony, you switching up, you this way like this, but then you this way like that. And it's really unfair, especially to somebody who's a minority. It's extremely unfair to try to put somebody in a box and just say, oh, you should just be like this the entire time. You can't let anyone put you in a box and tell you that you're supposed to operate on a certain frequency all the time. If that's what you choose to operate in, or if that's the groove that you choose to be on, then that's your choice. Let that be your decision. If you're constantly on this unbothered mode, then that's your choice. But if there's something that bothers you and you have to act unbothered, at that point, no, you need to speak up and voice what's going on with you. You need to speak up and say what it really is, what's happening with you. And a lot of the times, I think part of that is also rooted in people being afraid of not being alone. They conform in order to be included into different pockets of society. For me, I'm mutable, so I conform in order to be able to adjust to the environment that I'm in, because I like adjusting to environments, and I don't look at that as being fake. Other people look at it as being fake. I don't. I'm a very peaceful person. But when it comes to something that's an injustice, or something that's energetically it's just not right, that's when I'm a riot. That's when I become the anarchist. So I think that's the constant variable that does not change within me. The constant I don't care what we look like, what we sound like, what we do, what the activity is. It's whatever. But if it does not align with my soul, and if it doesn't align with my purpose, and if it doesn't align with my personal value or moral, or if it feels like I'm going against God to do it, I'm just not going to do it. And I've had to learn, because I've done things that have gone against God. Not taking care of yourself and betraying yourself is the act of going against God. Not being in the flow of your own creativity, or even trusting your own voice, that's going against God. Because the highest form of yourself is a direct reflection of God. I don't ever call myself a goddess or a god, but I do understand that you can be a living, breathing organism, a human being walking on 2 feet, and carry the frequency of God in you. And you can be creating on the level and the frequency of God. And you can be dreaming, and you can be just everything that you do can be on a frequency of God if you get aligned. And if you learn how to stop betraying yourself, I have betrayed myself for years with lack of boundaries and lack of setting boundaries and letting people know, like, no, like, I don't want you around me. I don't want you in my energy. No, I don't want to do that because I know it's going to benefit you and you are unappreciative. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to. And a lot of people, you got to be careful too, because people feel like, oh, if you forgive me, then at that point, there shouldn't be any repercussion for me. I'm forgiving you for me. I'm not forgiving you for you. In fact, my forgiveness comes with a caveat. It comes with a disclaimer. It comes with some T's and C's. The T's and C's is, yes, I'm going to forgive you so that I can heal and move on. But you're still going to go through the trials, 555, the tribulations, and the repercussions that you're supposed to get. Whether it be energetically or naturally, you still going to go through issues. You're still going to go through problems. You're still going to have hang-ups. You're not just going to get my forgiveness, and my forgiveness comes with you being freed of any kind of universal responsibility that you have to serve time. Nah. If you were a universal outlaw, you gonna go and take your universal sentence. I forgive you for me. I don't forgive you for you. The audacity. So with that being said, that's part of also, I believe, betraying yourself, not being true to who you are, not loving yourself, not setting boundaries. I think that's the quickest way to sell your soul. I've sold my soul several times, plenty of times. You can always get it back, but you have to learn. You have to learn how to go through the trial. You have to learn how to surrender. You have to learn how to be obedient and true to yourself. I've sold my soul several times. Anytime you shortchange yourself in life, you allow people to walk all over you. You allow people to do whatever they want to you. Anytime you, and I'm not talking about in the sense of, okay, I can't really engage in this because this is not even a part of who I am. This is beneath me. I can't do anything with this because this is something that really God is going to have to handle. So something that you might have to take on the chin a couple of times until God comes in and is like, hey, yo, no, let me set the record straight with this right now. I'm not even talking about that, because there are times and seasons where you're literally not going to be able to fight. You're not going to be able, or the way that you are fighting is not in the way that your opposition wants you to respond. Sometimes your fight is focusing on you. Sometimes your fight is bettering who you are. Sometimes your fight, your fight is in different phases, different stages. Your fight is different. Sometimes your fight is different. It's not always physical. It's not always, digital, where it's like, or virtual, I should say, where it's like you got to respond back and forth, online, head to toe. It's not always that. Sometimes your fight is literally within your art. Just like, you know what? I know a lot of stuff is going on around me. I know people are saying a lot of things, doing a lot of things. That ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. Godspeed and God bless. Break a leg. That has nothing to do with me. If you're going back and forth with me, you must be going back and forth with a spiritual representative of me, because it's not me. And when it comes down to it, that's how you preserve your soul. But when you are constantly engaging in things that ain't got nothing to do, you're going to have people, especially when you're on your path, in your purpose, people will literally start arguments with you in their head. People will literally, and I'm not talking about you, because I'm one of those people. Let me tell you something. The reason why my communication styles are the way that it is because I talk to myself. My grandfather said, it's okay to talk to yourself. Just don't answer yourself. I talk to myself. And I talk to myself because I like the idea of not hearing my voice. I like the idea of hearing my rhetoric. Because if my rhetoric doesn't sound right, then it's time for me to go within. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? It's time for me to go within and figure out what it is that's going on with me, what's happening. But I like my rhetoric. But when it comes down to it, sometimes you need to talk to yourself out loud, because sometimes you're spewing levels of insanity, and when you hear yourself, you're like, damn, I really am messed up, or I really am toxic, or this issue really did get the best of me. Hold on, let me check my energy, let me preserve my energy, let me check myself. That's how you get your soul back. But you can sell your soul quick just by engaging in things that have nothing to do with your purpose, nothing to do with your creativity, and things that are hindering and blocking you from blossoming into being the best version of you that you could be. You sell your soul easily that way because you're giving your energy, which is your soul's life force, to things that don't matter, to conversations that really don't exist, to comparisons and to competition that is like, I'm not even competing, not because I think I'm better than anyone, but there's no competition. I am who I am, you know, and you got to know that for yourself. It doesn't matter what your situation looks like, how you feel. You are who you are. I am that I am, and there's will not be anyone before me or anyone after me. God is my Alpha and Omega, but because I am an extension of him, I have my own paradigm of Alpha and Omega to flow in. Excuse my voice, I'm a little verklempt. I'm about to get a little bit verklempt, but besides that, it's like that's the quickest way to sell your soul, betraying yourself, like not even caring about, how does this make my soul feel? How does this, am I going to be able to recover from this? Because there's certain things that you may be uneducated about spiritually that may seem like you compromising yourself. It may seem like you're cutting yourself short or shortchanging yourself, but really it's just a part of your process. And to thine own self be true. And when you're taking care of energetic business, when you're on your journey and when you're going down the different roads that lead to your journey, it's like, okay, this seems like a dark alley, I don't want to go through this. But as soon as you step down that way, it's like all the street lights come on. And it was like, okay, I did not trust this path, I did not trust this way, but I'm glad I took the risk to go down it, because now it's like all of the lights, all of the street lights are on, and I can see. And I can see that, no, I actually thrive in the mantra, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. And walking in that mantra is also applied to taking risk within your emotions, allowing yourself to feel your way through the pain and process it in a healthy way that isn't always ushering in coping mechanisms, that isn't always ushering in, food. Coping mechanism for me, food. And I've had to learn, no, that's not the way you cope. That's not the way you do things. And you can't use it as a drug. It may not be something that you rolling up. It may not be something that you lighten up. It may not be something that you, however you do what you do. But it can definitely be something that's weaponizing you. It could definitely be something that you're selling your soul for. It could definitely be something that you just, it doesn't serve your highest good, whatever it is. So, with that, selling your soul is a lot easier than what people proclaim it to be. Anything that's compromising your integrity, anything that's compromising your creativity, anything that's cutting yourself short and shortchanging you in the realm of the spirit. A lot of the times we focus on the things of the material. Oh, you did this and this and that to get something material. Oh, you did X, Y, and you did this and this and that. But selling your soul on the other side of the spectrum is shortchanging yourself for person, places, and things that would never choose you, that would never put you first, that would never pour the same energy in you as you pour into yourself. Some of y'all ain't even got half the things that other people have, and you selling your soul every day because you're hanging out with person, places, and things that are not productive to where God is trying to take you. You're shortchanging yourself because you still staying in the same town because you trying to watch to see, did he really move on? Is she really happy without me? When there's 1,000 other opportunities and people out there that you could be getting into because of the fact that you want to hold on to the idea of what yesterday was. And it's like yesterday didn't serve you when it was there in that time and space. It didn't serve you. You know? So with that being said, don't shortchange yourself. I had to learn that. I had to learn, and don't be afraid for people to be like, oh, you're mean, or you're this, or you're that, or you're a biatch, or whatever it is, like you're this and that. No, sometimes putting that filter up, putting that lock on, putting that guard up, and telling people you're not allowed to be in my life. There's nothing that you can do to attribute to me. I don't care how good you think they look. I don't care how good you think they smell. I don't care how much money they have. At the end of the day and at the beginning of the sentence, if they're not there to promote your soul growth, if they're not there to promote you healing, if they're only there to deplete you but have no plan of transmuting or pouring back into you. Because one thing about it, you are always going to exchange energy with people no matter what. You can, as long as you're a living, breathing human organism, there is going to be an exchange of energy with people. It just is what it is. You're going to exchange energy with people. So with that being said, ain't nothing wrong with exchanging energy. But does that person plan on replenishing you? A lot of people, they exchange energy, but they deplete each other. They don't have a plan. They don't want to, they don't have any intention of pouring back into you. Because let's be completely honest, when you get in union with somebody, or when you're just around friends or family or even work colleagues, you've got to bounce off of each other's energy. But what happens when you bounce off of somebody's energy and they don't pass the ball? They don't bounce back. So when it comes down to it,